Hey everybody, Chris Lotus here, hope y'all are doing good. We are on the heels of the next KOF 15 character reveal, and possibly the next KOF 15 team reveal. So as I did before the team hero announcement, wanna put my last minute thoughts out there, predictions, cause along with what's coming, there's a little bit of something else that I found out along the way. So let's get right into it. Let's start with somebody that I alluded to in the previous prediction video that I was 50% sure about returning in the game, and that is of course Rugal Bernstein. Now before I begin, I want to give a shout out to Siren Richson, who also makes content covering fighting games and also has been covering KOF 15. He pointed out something to me in a conversation we had on Discord that I actually overlooked. Because the reason why I was 50-50 with Rugal was because, unlike all the other people that we know that have been confirmed to be alive via Versus demise, Rugal kind of stood out amongst them because of course we know he disintegrated after trying to use more of Orochi's power. With that being said, Siren pointed out something to me that further increased my confidence in Rugal's return, and that was via a win quote that Verse had towards Mature, where the soul of Rugal is saying, "What's wrong? You can be my secretary again." Now, despite me being a total nerd and loving a lot of these channels that clip up all the unique dialogues and trash talk between fighting game characters, I overlooked this. Because usually when we see these compilations, very rarely do we have boss characters involved. Now, despite how close never and very rarely probably are, they're not the same. And I feel even sillier about overlooking this because I can recall one other instance that this did happen, and it was in MVC3. Galactus even has certain quotes directed towards certain fighting game characters. Like, I thought him just telling Deadpool, or asking him more so, "Why do you laugh in the face of your destruction?" was just, kind of par the course. But then as you play along, you see that that's not the case. So this nice little bit of info actually has me all the more confident that Rugal will be in the game. I'll even go one step further, and I more than likely will switch him with Gonitz on my roster predictions. Because they like Rugal, they can't stand Gonitz. Mature and Vice, that is. They can't stand him. So there's that little bit of info. Also, just to leave no stones unturned, I want to mention some other souls that were inside of Verse that I figured out by looking at his other specific win quotes, and I'm specifically talking about the souls of characters that I have not mentioned at all in this series. Chrysalid, Gaidel, Mizuki Rashojin, and Ignis. Now, I'm uncertain about any one of these four being on the playable roster, but seeing the four characters that their souls speak to through Verse, they may play some type of role, possibly. Because of course, Chrysalid is going at K, Gaidel at Leona, Mizuki at Nakoruru, and Ignis going at Sylvie. Honestly, of the four of them at the moment, if you wanted me to pick one that I thought might be on the main roster, I'd probably go with Ignis, because Sylvie is fairly new. I understand that she was the last remnant of Nests, but I believe there's more story to tell between the two of them. And I mean, there's a lot of story to cover with the four of them. And I mean, Gaidel, who we've known about for a long time, could possibly make his debut, in the same way that many of us, myself included, think we're finally going to get Jeff Bogard. So just wanted to put that out there. No predictions here thus far with the four of them. Maybe later, I'll have to think on it some more. And now, on to our main point. Assuming SNK doesn't swerve us again, who will be revealed as Andy and Joe's teammate? Of the many KOF characters, I've seen two names pop up more than most others. Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranui. I personally think it is one of these two. I'm gonna try my hand at settling on just one for this prediction before we get the trailer. So let me start with Terry. I mean, it's Team Fatal Fury more than likely. Terry Bogard is Fatal Fury. Him, Andy, and Joe have been the most consistent Team Fatal Fury lineup. Even with the 2 times the team comp changed, Terry was always there. Now, on the other hand, you could still possibly have a Team Fatal Fury with Terry away from Andy and Joe. Specifically, if you recall my predictions with Rock and Blue Mary. That wouldn't even be a second-rate Fatal Fury team. Again, the 3 of them were voted the most popular amongst the 14 roster. They are incredibly popular characters, period. SNK has got to know this. They've got to. Also, this wouldn't be the first time that Terry Bogard teamed with 2 different people on the Fatal Fury team. If you recall, he was with Kim and Duck King in KOF 11. Now, granted, Joe and Andy had storyline reasons as to why they weren't with Terry in 11, but the point still stands. It's not too bizarre to see Terry, or at least this wouldn't be the first time we've seen him team with 2 different people. Now, with of course, that scene in Andy's trailer. Maybe it is hinting at the fact that she might be the final member of the team. Obviously, they could further play up that whole love angle. Who knows? Maybe here is where they will tie the knot officially. Additionally, we've got to consider the expectation-shattering team shakeup factor. So far, 2 confirmed teams for 15 have been shaken up from 14. SNK could possibly keep the shakeups coming with this team. Also, while it's a shakeup compared to 14, Maya's actually been on the Fatal Fury team once before, in 99 alongside Andy, Joe, and Terry. So who's to say that in 15, it could be her and it's like a variation of that team. On the other hand, considering my current predictions, the Women Fighters team is left uncertain should my team with Joe and Andy. There's solid evidence suggesting that Yuri Sakazaki will not be on that team, as she's staying with Robert and Takuma to help with the restaurant. And there's a slight possible hint at King teaming with Rio and Marco. Every time the Women Fighters team has made a playable appearance in KOF, one of these 3 has been on the team at the very least. I don't think they would go without at least having one veteran character on this team. However, considering the character shakeup, maybe they might. Could there be a new Women Fighters team? Or perhaps it could be kind of like a mixture of both. Like, it would still be a new team, but you would have a new veteran character in the form of somebody like Blue Mary or Vanessa being the leader. That'd be dope. I'd like that. And there's one more thing to consider. So far, as I've mentioned before, each team that has been confirmed has had at least one character from the first official KOF 15 trailer in it. Assuming the next character is for the 3rd member of this team, if it is Terry, this would be the first confirmed team comprised of characters who we did not see in that trailer. I bring this up because even with the intentional troll Higashi reveal, it still has caused quite a mystery going forward. Like, SNK is really clever when it comes to approaching this. So, I have gone from being 50-50 on this to more 51-49. My final verdict on this, with 51% of my confidence, is Terry Bogard being the 3rd member of this team. And here's why. For one, I'm also going to rescind on a prediction that I've been insistent on for the past couple videos in the series, and that is my initial Team Fatal Fury prediction. Taking the recent reveals and another very obvious contradiction into account, Rock Howard cannot be on Team Fatal Fury. Unless SNK outright makes Rock canon to the current KOF storyline somehow, as much as it pains me to say it, we could see him being DLC again. Wouldn't be surprised if SNK tries to pull some day one DLC stuff on us. Also, SNK has really been trying to keep us guessing with these recent reveals. When everyone was expecting Kyo, myself included, we got Joe. I think they are going to deviate from the pattern in two different ways in this matter. One, as I mentioned earlier, this will be the first team to have 3 characters that we did not see in the inaugural trailer for KOF 15. And number 2, this will be the first confirmed KOF team to not be shaken up as opposed to 14. SNK can shout, "Shatter all expectations," all they want. But as I mentioned in earlier prediction videos, they cannot possibly shake up all teams from 14. I still think a great deal of them will be shaken up, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. And just in case you think I forgot, I totally didn't, because Blue Mary is the furthest thing from forgettable. For the time being, I'm going to switch her with Vanessa. When I can come up with a solid idea, I will regroup Vanessa, maybe with an agents team. I'm leaning that way, but I'm still not entirely 100% behind it. But hey, as I always say, those are just my thoughts. What do you think? I love talking with y'all about this. Who do you think is going to be revealed in the next KOF 15 trailer? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Chris Lotus, and I will catch you all when the next KOF 15 character trailer drops. See you then.